Hello and welcome back to the ethics introduction videos. In this video we're going to talk about the formulation of a main question and the clash of values that should be covered in a main question. I'm going to start right away with something formal because it's basically a formal skill. Ethical questions always consist of two parts. It always consists of a means to an end structure. The first part describes the thing you want to do, and the second part describes what the goal of that act would be. And in both parts, a value is implicit. The thing you do is connected to a value, and the goal you have is connected to a value as well, or the situation you're in. You can see that normally you would ask yourself whether something is good or bad to do, given a situation or given the goal. But to get more gray area in possible ethical questions, you also might ask yourself whether something is permissible, not permissible, desirable, undesirable, or obliged, or forbidden, which gives a different feel than simply black and white, like it is when you discuss the good and bad. So please consider the other concepts as well. In ethical questions, there's lots of time, there's a clash between values. That's what ultimately makes an ethical problem into a dilemma. Two important things ask for a order, ask for priority, which presides over another. Lots of cases, it's a clash between autonomy and loyalty. For instance, you want to make your own decisions, but you also feel that you have an obligation towards your friends or family. That's a clash between autonomy and loyalty. Same thing, there's often a clash within the sense of justice. Sometimes you simply feel that there needs to be a certain order in the world you're living in, the society you're living in, because it prevents chaos. But at the other side, sometimes you feel that it's simply not fair, that it's ordered, but not just, because maybe lots of people live in poverty or not get good pay for their work. So looking at this simple overview of values, and human dignity is left aside for a minute, you can tackle pretty much, well, let's say 70 or 80% of all ethical dilemmas that are there on planet Earth. Dilemmas between your individuality in contrast to you're living in a society, a collective, and two senses of justice. The sense of justice and the sense of order in contrast to fairness. So if you want to have a quick understanding of lots of ethical dilemmas, please try to understand these words and learn them by heart. Let's have a look at some examples to clarify these very common values that are clashing. I don't walk you through all of these examples. Let me highlight two of them, the two most classic examples. Is it good to report a crime to the police that a friend is about to commit? So a friend tells you something about something that's going to happen, and you feel you bump into an ethical dilemma because two values are clashing. On one side, you feel that the world should be a just place, that your friend should not commit a crime. You feel that justice is a very important value. And at the same time, you feel that you have a certain loyalty to your friend. You feel that he should be able to trust you to tell certain things, and those two things are clashing. That's an ethical dilemma. Again, if you look at the structure of a good ethical question, the first part is something you do, and the second part is describing the end, in this case, the end you want to prevent. Second example, and that's the last one, it's a very classical ethical dilemma where justice in two versions clash. Is it fair to rob a money transport of a billionaire? Money he probably can miss to give the money to the poor. Um, uh, it's inspired on the classic Robin Hood idea. Lots of people feel that order is really important. You just cannot rob someone, not if he's a billionaire, nor if he's really poor. It doesn't make a difference. But some people doubt on that when they see that maybe that big company exploits lots of other people who cannot make their livelihoods, and they feel that if someone would do such a thing, the justice in the sense of fairness would be served. So again, can you do something with that goal, with that end? And that's making a ethical dilemma. Let's have a look at the Mark test. The main question of the gig driver, the gig economy worker, whether it's a delivery guy or a Uber driver, who needs to go to work or needs to stay at home when he has COVID symptoms. The question he could ask himself, or the gig worker could ask himself, is whether it is permissible to work with COVID-19 symptoms to provide their family. In these cases, you can see it between brackets, two values are at stake. At one side, public health, because he has COVID symptoms, but he doesn't feel bad, so he might know by reasoning that he puts public health at stake. And at the same time, he knows that he needs to take care of his family. If he doesn't go to work, he might not cover the expenses. He might not be able to put bread on the table, and that doesn't appeal to his loyalty towards his family, which is a horrible ethical dilemma if you need to make a choice like this. This would be the introduction to the main question and the values. This was question C of the example test. Next video, we're going to proceed with utilitarianism.